All right, now we have some practice computing derivatives with e to the x. E to the x knows how to play product rule, it knows how to play chain rule, it knows how to play quotient rule, it knows how to play product rule with chain rule. The key to remembering this, or the key to solving all these, is that if f of x is equal to e to the x, then the derivative is e to the x. E to the x is its own derivative. E to the x is its own derivative. So, let's see if we can compute these for derivatives. Why don't you go ahead and pause the video now. All right, so if we're back in now, so I want to find the derivative here. This is the product rule. This is going to be first times the derivative of the second. Now this is a little tricky because it looks like all you're doing is copying and pasting. You are not. This is the first. I'm going to write this out with parentheses here. First times derivative of the second plus second times derivative of the first. It's the first, that's the copy paste. Derivative of the second, e to the x is its own derivative. Plus second, that's the copy paste. And the derivative of x squared is 2x. And if all you're asked to do is compute the derivative, you're done. If, for some reason, you wanted to simplify this, what typically you'll do here is factor out e to the x. If you want to simplify this, is e to the x, factor that out, leaving behind x squared plus 2x. If you wanted to, you could also factor out the x. But if all you're asked to do is find the derivative, you're done. If for some reason you wanted to simplify it, that's partially simplified. You could also factor out the x. All right, number 2. F of x is e raised to the cosine of x. Well, the derivative of e to the stuff is e raised to the stuff, it's the same thing, times the derivative of the stuff. So the derivative of e raised to the cosine x is e raised to the cosine of x. But then you multiply by the derivative of that expression. The derivative of cosine is negative sine. Make sure you have this in parenthesis. If you put e to the cosine of x, and then you put minus sine of x, this is not correct. This is correct because this is multiply. This is not correct. You may, if you wish, bring the negative out front of the whole thing, but you may not write this. This is not the same thing. This is wrong of wrong. So this is one possibility. Just find the derivative and leave it alone. Another possibility is you may, if you wish, write the sign first. You may write this as negative sine of x times e to the cosine of x. That's correct. But don't put this stray negative sign in the middle because then it can be interpreted as subtraction rather than the negative. All right, so let me rewrite this a little bit. All right, where were we here? This looks like quotient rule to me. Low-de high, high-de low. So denominator times the derivative of the numerator. The derivative of e to the x is e to the x. The derivative of 2x is 2. Denominator times derivative of the numerator minus numerator, copy paste, times derivative of denominator is 0 plus 1 over x. All great big honking over denominator quantity squared. And just let it sit. Let's see, this looks like product rule. I would put the 2x together. I would put that together. This might take a little extra room here. I'm going to start my answer over here. It's first times derivative of the second, as if that's the only thing up here. That's going to be the chain rule. The derivative of e to the stuff is e to the stuff times the derivative of that stuff. So this is first times derivative of the second plus second, copy paste, times the derivative of the first, and you're out. Again, if you feel like it, you may factor out the e to the x squared plus 2. You may factor out one of the 2's. You can factor this all you like. If all you're asked to find is the derivative, that's all there is to it. So e to the x and natural log x should now be part of your mental furniture, being able to find derivatives using all the basic rules for those derivatives.